What's up everyone, my name is Zoe Williamson, and in this video we're going to talk about 10 surprising things that happened when I sold everything I owned. Maybe you're going through a similar journey and you're asking yourself,
what am I going to expect?
Am I going to regret this?
I feel really overwhelmed.
like, I get it guys, and I've been through the process and I've had the same thought processes. I hope you get some peace while watching it. So without further ado, let's hop straight into it. I'm really excited. Okay, so before we officially go over these 10 surprising facts, let me give you a little bit of context on why and how I ended up selling it all. First off, I was not alone in this process. It was 4 of us, my mom, my dad, myself, my brother, and we moved from the United States to Costa Rica. So this was a big move. Like, we moved to a different country, and I'm actually going to be having a part 2 video talking about moving to the foreign country. When we lived in the United States, I would say that we definitely did live the American lifestyle in one way or another. We fell into the trap of consumerism, I would say. We ended up accumulating a lot of things, like a lot of stuff, and it wasn't even really stuff that I loved. It was just like stuff over the course of the years that you don't want to get rid of it because it's good to have, because you should have it anyways. So that was the mindset, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But we owned a lot of stuff, and we ended up having an estate sale where we sold all of it. Like our furniture and our cars and our clothes and even our house, the house that my parents built, and it was like our dream home. We sold that, and it was a big move. So we sold it all, or almost all of it technically. We ended up taking 2 suitcases with us each and then shipping 2 pallets of containers. So almost all of it. But it felt like all of it, okay? Like that's pretty close to all of it. But anyways, let's hop straight into fact number 1. This process was extremely freeing. So up to this point, I felt like I should my entire life. Like,
I should keep this, and I should keep that.
because, you know, just in case. And so therefore, I ended up accumulating
Way too much stuff.
and it wasn't even stuff that I was in love with. And when I decided to let it all go, it felt like a weight off my shoulders. And I was just a lot less distracted, and it was really nice. And I also felt like I had the opportunity to create a new identity for myself as well. So let me talk about this. So for example, I was a mural artist back in Virginia Beach, where I lived back in the States, and I had it going on. Like, I had a pretty great reputation for myself. But honestly, I was starting to get burnt out from it. I had collected like all my art materials and my gallons of paints, and they were staring at me every time I walked in my closet. I saw them, and I was reminded, oh, you should do this because you already have a reputation and you're really good at it. But deep down, I was ready to move on to other things. So when I decided to sell it all, including those things, I felt like I had the opportunity to identify myself and pursue things that I wouldn't have pursued before because I felt weighted down. That's fact number 1. It was a very freeing process. Let's hop into fact number 2. So fact number 2, when you sell it all, you're probably going to live way more intentionally. So it's a fresh start, and it's a great opportunity to filter through what you get to bring into your life now, whether it's friendships or how you spend your time or certain items. This is a blank canvas for you. And the question is, how are you going to paint this canvas? It's a fresh start. It feels really good to have a fresh start. So this is ultimately up to you, but the chances are, if you're going to embark on a similar journey of selling it all, you'll be faced with every single little detail of your life head on while you go through this process. And reflecting and going through every single little detail of my life brought me to the point where I made a commitment that I was never going to clutter up my life like I once had before. So because of this, I became a lot more intentional. So this brings me to point number 3 about decluttering and more of the attitude side of things. So point number 3, this could be really, really fun if you make it. And it can be Christmas in reverse. So I personally believe that attitude is everything. We can look at this like a heavy process, and the chances are you might run into that sort of feeling and it doesn't feel good, but we don't have to stay there. We can choose to make this really fun and lighthearted and view it like Christmas is in reverse. And that's what my family and I chose to do. So when I say this Christmas in reverse, you're probably like, what? But instead of accumulating things like you do for Christmas and you get really stoked when you get something else, we actually got really stoked when something sold. And so when we had our estate sale, it was a 4-day estate sale. Every day that we would come home and we saw that stuff sold, we were like,
oh my gosh, like something sold. This is amazing. It feels like weight off my shoulders. This is really fun.
And we chose to go in through the process of selling everything we own with this sort of lighthearted attitude. And it was a blast for us. And here's the clip to show you what I'm talking about.
Look, the rug is gone. Oh my gosh, the rug is gone. It's so funny. Oh, look, somebody took only one of those.
I know, that's so funny. You just take one.
The couch sold.
Wow.
The bed, I think, sold.
Seriously?
Well, I know the chair sold. This sold.
Wow.
Awesome. Let's see the closet. Oh my gosh. It really, well.
Oh, look at your shoes. The shelves.
I still have so much stuff. Oh my gosh. How fun. Want to
Yeah.
go upstairs?
Let's go upstairs.
I thought she said your bed was sold, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
my bedding sold.
No, your bed, I thought.
Oh, bed
So I could
frame.
be wrong.
Wait, hold on. Let's see my closet.
Oh yeah.
It says,
It
I
looks
don't know.
full.
yeah.
Did people go in there?
There is wrapping on it.
What?
Right here. Yeah, it said do not open.
No.
Okay, so fact number 4. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Sometimes I do miss certain things that I sold. And this is specific more when I moved to southern Costa Rica. So I was originally in northern Costa Rica, Guanacaste, Nosara area. Why did I say it? Nosara area. And I moved down south, and the more south you go in Costa Rica, the colder it gets. And actually where I live right now, you can wear long sleeves, as I'm wearing. You can wear joggers, and it's a lot colder. So yeah, I do miss some of the jackets that I had back in the States that I ended up selling because I didn't realize I was gonna go down south. I had no idea. And I do have moments where I'm like, oh, darn.
Like, I wish I didn't sell that.
However, please do not let this worry you or hold you back from your journey of selling it all if this is already your current plan. Also, a side note, when I go on social media now, sometimes I'll see like a friend from high school or someone's grandma, and I'll zoom into a picture. I'm like, is that my stuff? Like, and sometimes it is. Like, sometimes I'll see them wear like my jackets or my shoes, and it's just the most random people. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's where those shoes went. But you know, it actually brings me a lot of joy though, because I have such great memories with those things, and to see that someone else is creating great memories with them, it brings me joy. And knowing that that good energy is being passed down elsewhere to somebody else that's really gonna love those things. And especially the things that I didn't love that were getting dusty in the back of my closet, it feels really good that someone is wearing the heck out of it now. So this brings me to point number 5. Point number 5, I have experienced a lot more trust that things will come back around. I know it can be scary to think that you'll never be able to see something that you once owned before ever again, like that favorite blender or those cowgirl boots that you've had for 10 years. I'm thinking of my boots that I've literally had since 7th grade. I know my foot size has not changed since 7th grade. Honestly, maybe you won't find that exact thing again. However, if you just trust the process of things, you might find something similar to it or something even better than you once had before. So just really trust God, trust the process of life, trust that it will come back around, and to not use the mindset of scarcity, of holding on to things. And if we really need something in the moment, I do believe that we have a God that will provide in those moments. So point number 6, becoming a nomad seems like a much more achievable concept. So I know a lot of people who sold it all and became nomads, especially here in the country of Costa Rica where I live. It seems to be a pretty common thing. And I'm talking about families, like full-on families where they're hopping rental to rental, Airbnb to Airbnb, Airbnb to Airbnb. And I even know a family who's about to start van life. That is the coolest thing. Like a family of 5, they're about to start van life together. Really cool. And after talking to them, they're able to do this sort of thing because they minimize their life in one way or another. Whether they decided to sell everything they own or put things into a big storage container where it's just on pause, on hold, collected, accumulated in one specific area. They're able to do this because they felt
light and free.
And maybe being a nomad isn't necessarily a desire of yours or in the future plans or anything like that. However, going through the process of selling everything you own makes this idea just seem a lot more achievable, because I didn't have the question of
what am I going to do with all of my stuff?
Pop into my mind all the time, like it once did when I did have all of those things. So this leads me to point number 7. Point number 7, selling everything I owned opened up space for me to discover what I wanted my vision to be more like. And I would say the same sort of thing would happen to you if you embarked on a similar sort of journey. And this process changed not only me, but my family and pretty much everyone who I know who has embarked on a similar sort of journey. With going through something pretty drastic like this, you can't help but change or grow in some sort of way, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually. There's going to be growth there. And because I ended up selling it all, I then had room to discover and seek and experiment with new ideas and goals and just seeing what the future can hold. And the best part is, it's not like I had my previous identity to hold on to, because at this point, I went back to the basics of just being a human being, a child of God, and seeing what possibilities there are to best proceed in this lifetime without feeling stuck with the physical things of the world. So point number 8, I now put experiences as more of a priority over physical things. And so when I say this, I mean, like, before I would spend more time like online shopping and stuff, and when you choose to sell it all, you just, I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to accumulate as many things as I once did. So instead of spending time online shopping and things of that nature, I now choose to spend more time seeking out experiences with friends and enjoying the little things, you know, like that warm cup of coffee and going out for a picnic. And it's not like I'm on this like hunt or seek for the next thing. So that's something I noticed when selling it all. Point number 9, I noticed that generosity is a lot easier. So this is a little hard for me to admit, but I will admit generosity was not a strong suit of mine before I sold it all. And God has been working on this in my heart for a while now. And I was a kind person and everything, but however, I did experience like turmoil when giving things to people, kind of almost as a scarcity kind of mindset sort of things. Like I just didn't want to let go of them. When I sold it all, it was almost like a big band-aid that was ripped off, and it stung a bit in the moment. However, it did make my generosity muscle a lot stronger. And I think, heck, if I can sell it all, then I have no problem giving this organization my time or my money or volunteering. And once you surrender everything and go through this sort of experience, surrendering more in the future just isn't that hard because you've sold it all in the first place. And the Bible says, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. That's one of my favorite scriptures right there, and it really has helped me through the process of being more generous. Sow generously, my friends, and watch the blessings that you will reap from doing this. I don't give to get necessarily at all, but however, selfishly, I do feel really good every time I give. And I've experienced the beautiful act of generosity more because I sold it all, and has ultimately made me a lot more surrendered to giving up things in the future. So point number 10, seeing the big picture of things. So it's absolutely no surprise that this was a drastic action, like I've mentioned throughout this video. And throughout this process, my perspective with a lot of things totally has changed. I got to realign my priorities and truly practice the art of surrender. And we came into this world with nothing, and we're leaving this world with nothing. So why do we have such a tight grasp on things when ultimately at the end we're not going to have any of it, you know? And if you're already on the fence of selling it all and considering this process, then maybe this is your sign to go for it. Who knows? That's up to you. And I don't mean like thoughtlessly sell everything you own, but more of like if these are your next steps in life, then this might be your sign. Just saying. Alrighty, so I hope you like this video, something different, something new. It's starting to storm right now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But I do have a part 2 coming out. Oh my gosh, it's really starting to storm. I have a part 2 coming out where I will be discussing the top 10 shocking things that happen when I move to a foreign country. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, and pura vida.